Hi everyone, it's Joe at KE Consulting here. Today we're continuing our warehouse series, and in this video we're moving on to our third level of warehousing that I call advanced warehousing. In this level we are going to be using our location and bins again, and I will also show you zones which are used to group bins, and we are also going to be using warehouse picks and putaways, as well as warehouse shipments and receipts. So we'll now have two documents and levels of tracking when shipping and receiving items. So let's jump into the setup. If I go into my locations, I have a location called JAW or Joe Advanced Warehouse. So in here, I've got bin mandatory ticked, and this means that we're going to be using bins in this setup. And next, I've got require ship and require receive ticked. And this is what's going to allow us to use our warehouse shipments and receipts. And these are used to confirm what items have either left the warehouse or have just arrived at the warehouse. I've then also got require put away and require pick ticked. And this will work nearly the same as in basic warehousing, but we use warehouse picks and put away documents to confirm which bins items have either been taken from or placed in. Now, if we scroll down a little, you'll see we have a receipt bin and a ship bin code. So these are bins that I've created and have a specific use. The receipt bin is used to hold items when they arrive at your warehouse before being placed into their storage bins. So when you post the warehouse receipt document, this is where the items will be stored. The ship bin is the opposite, so items are stored here before being shipped. When the warehouse shipment is posted, they will leave this bin. This will all be shown later in the video where we go through all of these steps. For the bin setup and explanations, I've covered all of this in a previous video called Bins and Default Bins. So if you haven't seen this or don't know much about bin setup, I highly recommend watching it. In this demo, we will use default bin for pick and put away. So now I'm going to show you zones. So if we click into zones, here is where we can create new zones, and these are used to group bins. So in this example, I have north and south zones. If I click the north line, then press bins, you can see that we have two bins within this zone. And these are two of the bins that we'll be using in this demo. If I go back and click on the south zone and then bins, you see I have one bin assigned to this zone. Now if we go back to the location card and we just press bins, we can see all of our bins and also the zone that they are assigned to. So that's two different ways you can view your bins and their zones. So for this demo, we're going to use all three of these bins. So let's have a look at their contents. So in bin 1, we have item 1900 and it's set to default bin. Again, all of the default and fixed bin explanations are covered in our bins video. If we look in bin 2, we have item 1908 and it's set to default and fixed. If we look in bin 3, we're going to be using this as a spare bin. So we've got both our items in here, but just set to fixed and not default. And this is to indicate that we can store these items here, but it's not their default bin. So that's all the setup required. And next we'll be jumping into the process.